Welcome to a new episode of our podcast, Lead the Future. Change the conversation. An unedited, honest conversation to create our future. I'm Arjan Visser, your host and futurist. And join me as I chat with my friend Grant Phypers on self-leadership, future and peers. Grant is an inspirator and a covert leader. He's a covert leadership whisperer. I think that is good. Whatever he says, there's always more than the ear hears. And he stands alongside people in high places and influence who seek alignment and want to boldly step into who they are actually called to be. Grant, based on that invitation, based on our friendship, I am really happy to have you in the podcast today.
Yeah, me too. I love it. I love our conversation. So I'm excited about what the next 30 minutes is gonna bring. So yeah, over to you.
Well, just imagine that you're an expert in today's life, recognized for your expertise. And at the other end, you have this deep desire that there is more. There is a tomorrow, unknown yet, but you feel it's emerging to you. You sense it, it's not knowledge, but it's what you sense, maybe even in the fibers of your being. And you want to prepare for that. Most leaders, that is a struggle they ignore, because it could be unconscious. When we make it conscious, how do you struggle with that? Running day-to-day operations on your expertise, maybe autopilot, versus preparing for the next new thing.
You posted something on LinkedIn a week or a few weeks ago, and I responded to it when I said that I don't really prepare, and I don't write out vision statements, and I don't write out goals, and I don't really write down anymore any of my sort of hopes and aspirations, because they're all in here. So every morning when I get up, I wake up and I have an expectancy that something incredible, something wonderful is going to happen that day. And I never write out what I hope to see. I don't verbalize that or vocalize that in a way where I'm narrowing down and focusing on one thing. I'm just very much open-minded as to what's going to come along. And that's how I've lived for probably the last 10 years. And it's exciting. No one day is the same, because I don't structure my day like that. I travel, I see clients, I continually look to the new thing or what's coming. I build my business the way that I've always done, whether that's right or wrong, and whether I should take time out to stop, take an eagle's view from where I am now to see, look, what can I do better? Or what can I do this? And how can I be more strategic? But it's not me. I'm not a strategist. I'm not even a reactional person. I'm someone that will probably make things happen for me if I believe that's the right place to put my feet, or to push a door. If I feel in my spirit or in my person that I need to speak to someone, or I need to go somewhere, or I need to attend an event, then I will know with very little deliberation and pondering that it's the right thing to do. I'm a guy that can shoot from the hip, and I just tend to go wherever I feel that I need to go. So if I want to travel, I will go to that point, and I won't spend years or months or days or weeks planning to go on that trip. I will just say, right, this is where I'm going this week, and that's what I'm doing. And the way I do that brings the most out of what I do. Autopilot is a good phrase. I don't necessarily think I'm on autopilot as to the extent of I don't know what's coming up. So when you talk about autopilot, I think about autopilot on a jumbo jet. They plot their course. They can see the periphery. They can see all around them, but they're taking their hands off the controls. The controls are taking them in a direction. They've charted their path, and the plane is heading in that direction. They have little time or little. They don't need to keep maneuvering the plane or adjusting it or making slight adjustments so the plane continues in that direction. It's done automatically. And so I like to think that, you know, for me, my faith and my relationship with God, He is the one that is steering and directing me. I'm just in that environment. I can see all around me. I can see the mountains. I can see the valleys. I can see a new perspective coming and a new horizon. But it's going in that direction. And I believe that my days are spent just pushing forward and moving forward continuously. And I take each day as it comes, and I enjoy each day. Each day is different. So I don't know, have I answered your question? I hope so.
Yeah, yes, you definitely, and definitely not. You know, it's an interesting paradox with how it works with me. So, you know, in a recent podcast, I spoke with Shane, also known by you, that being in the present is probably an illusion, just to say it short. It's a perceived perception of reality. Why? Because physically, the present is always it's the smallest segment of time, and it's always gone. But living in the moment is something else. And what you describe for me is living in the moment, which is dynamic and relational. And I think that's really good, to live in the moment. And the other end, in my own life, I experience as a futurist that I love to explore horizons beyond the horizon. You know, from a strategic point, being in strategy consulting for a long time, we always talk about the next summit. Like, strategy is like a multi-stage plan to get to the next summit. And then the vision is what we see of the summit, and the strategy are the stages we move in there. But as a futurist, I like to see what's the summit beyond the summit. And actually, I sense things that I nurture, not keep in my head, because my head most of the time doesn't materialize yet. But then slowly something starts to grow out of it, and then I start to run with it, sometimes a long time later, and it seems to fit. It seems to work. Actually, it's the game changer. So your answer helps me. I love to have those people around me, because my strength is that beyond the horizon looking. But I think in both situations there could be a tension. Like in when we chatted a bit before the recording of the start of this podcast, we talked about there's so much distraction. I find out distraction takes time as a resource away from dreaming, pondering, using my imagination to get that horizon closer by, into the actions to actually lean into it. How does normal day-to-day operational work or other things, do you sense actually that there is a tension between living in the moment, like how I rephrased what you shared to me, versus operational tension pushing you into autopilot?
Is there a tension? I don't know. I don't feel that there is. I have things that I want to do, and they will materialize as and when I decide to devote time to them. I've dealt with distraction, and I'm pretty I suppose tuned in and aware what that distraction can look like and how I can get what can take me out of the game or potentially take me out of the game. So when those moments come, I know how to recenter my focus on what I'm doing. And look, there's good distractions. We all need some good distractions. I mean, when one of my sort of young people in my life, my kids, they're not kids anymore, but when they come in and distract me because they want to ask a question or they want to talk or they want to chill out or they want to go out somewhere, for me, that's a great distraction because it enables me to get myself away from what I'm doing, potentially in going in autopilot for my work. And that takes me away. But I don't know about tension. For me, I don't wrestle with that. I don't sit, and it doesn't irk me. It doesn't make me frustrated. It's almost like I'm trying to I find it very hard to explain this or express it, but there are things that I know that I want to achieve, and I will achieve them. There are opportunities coming up as we speak that will take me away from my job, my vocation as a specialist broker in Lloyd's, developing business and doing that sort of thing, and tapping into a more creative side of me, tapping into building things and growing things that will impact a demographic that has absolutely no relation to what I'm doing now in the insurance industry. So I have those paradigms. I have things running parallel with what I'm doing that I allow myself and give myself the opportunity that excite me, that tap into other areas of my creativity or my personality, that pull on the different strengths. But I would never say that I actively think about them or prepare something or think about what that looks like or map it out or anything like that. So when they come up, then I will just step into them, probably with no preparation other than to know that it's the right thing for me because I feel at peace or I feel comfortable in doing it. So as to the tension, I can never say that there is something there that I suppose reacts where I'm being pulled or pushed or thinking I've got to do this or I've got to do that and I've got to put that down in order to pick that up. And yeah, I don't have that in my life.
You don't have that in your life ever or anymore? What did you learn to make? Because I think for most people listening, you sound like a rare species. Which you are. That's how you introduce yourself always. But you have learned something. You have shifted something, because you don't call it preparation. You just step into one of those parallel things that come alongside you. I would say that stepping in is actually, that's where the preparation happens. That stepping in is the preparation. It is the action. So you don't do it as a mental exercise planned in time, but you do it more as, I'm ready as I can be. Don't know what I'm doing. When it appears, I step into it and I learn something. So in a way, you have not plotted it on a timeline, a to-do list, and that helps you not to get frustrated as well when it's pushed to the next week, because there is no deadline on it put on it by yourself.
I think I love that. I think, I was prepared a long time ago for what I'm walking in now, what I'm doing now. So if we dial back 10, 12, 13 years, I probably went through a heck of a lot of tension and pressure, stretching and growing, and uh, learning how to channel and use stress well, learning how to walk in freedom. And that doesn't come overnight. You have to, like any muscle that we want to develop, we have to work at it. So for me, the ability to walk in freedom has come from a continued pursuit of putting down and laying down unnecessary stresses and things that are, I would say, distractions, things that are trying to take me in a different direction. I've had to work at that continuously over the last 10 years to get to a place where I now know who I am and know what I am good at, know what I am capable of, and I will not do something that I don't and I won't excel in. So if I offer my help to someone, I know that I'm going to give them over more than 100% of me. If I say that I want to join you on this trip or this journey because I feel that I can add value, then I will do it without any preparation, as in physically or mentally. I will know that what I'm walking in is what I'm good at and what I can add value and influence in because of the preparation that I went through 10, 12, 13 years ago. So yes, there was probably a lot of preparation, but now I'm pretty assured of who I am and what I'm capable of. I love saying yes to stuff. I love saying yes to things that I know that I want to do. I also say no to stuff. I'm pretty certain of why. If I don't want to do it, I won't do it. And this isn't being stubborn. This is knowing my potential, knowing my skills and my strengths. And I won't, if someone says, "Can you do this?" I said, "No, I'm not. It's not for me to do. Go and find someone." Not politely, but go and find someone else to do that for you. That's not my stream. That's not why I'm going to operate in. That's not my strength. So, but when I do run 100, I run 110% in something. And if I set my mind at something, I will do it, and I will do it until I achieve it. But I won't dilute myself, and I won't do stuff if I don't think it's right.
Yeah.
So I will come away. I will focus on one thing, and I'll do that thing without any distractions.
I like that one. I recognize partly in myself, like it's harder to say yes than no for me. Yes, because I want to know that it's not going to be the next distraction, No, easier because, I'm focused.
Yeah.
I want to live intentional. Your story, your preparation actually is to say no, because so that you protect your yes. And so you said, like, it probably took, like, it's the shaping of who you are for over 10 years.
Absolutely.
And so it's definitely not a short journey of preparation for the moment. And I believe there's so many others out there that haven't found that moment yet and are in the middle of that shaping. So did you surround yourself with specific kind of peers to actually walk through this 10-year preparation, or did you just do it on your own in isolation?
No, I purposely. So at the outset of this, I can vividly remember, and I can tell you what day it was and the month and the year that I decided to. Not I decided. I did. I decided to let go and allow the change that needed to come in me take effect. And it was painful. So I did have the right people around me, and I did go out with purpose and seek the right people. I would take counsel from only a few people that I trusted. So I built an inner circle of trust and people that I trusted and people that I know would mentor me, and would equip me and impart what I needed into me, into my spirit, into me physically, to say, right, this is what I need, this is what you need, this is what I feel I need, and I need this from you. And people came and went. There were certain seasons and times where certain people were there, and I let them go, and I then moved on and said, right, now I need this. And I went out and sought that person or a group of those people that would give me what I needed, not in a selfish context, but being honest and open with them and saying, look, this is where I am, this is what I need, and I would love you to help me get to that point and place. And I think when we are intentional, people love that. If you approach someone who has years of wisdom over me and knowledge and experience in leadership, etc., and you walk to them and say, look, I'm just starting out on this journey. I'm 40, you're 65, you've been through a lot in your life. I want to learn from you. You'd be surprised how many people turn around and say, do you know what? I would be honored to not just coach you, but to walk with you through this season of your life. And so I'm at this point now. Actually, it's a good question that you asked me, because I'm at this point now, and I threw that up in the, like you, I'm a man of faith, and that's where I go, and I threw this up to God, and I said, look, this is where I am, because for me, God has been present in every area of my life, whether it's business, whether it's family, whatever it might be. And so, having that dialogue and with God and saying, look, I need this now. I'm coming into this season or this era in my life. I'm 52. I've moved forward. The people that I had around me, they've come out of that. The building that you are building, which is me, I'm doing with you, but I also need specific individuals with specific skills to get me to the next place. And so I'm at that time now where I feel that in order to step into something that I'm really passionate about, which will run alongside my day-to-day job as a broker, I need certain people that can help me unlock and build something that could potentially impact many, many people. So I'm at this place. I had to strip everything back. And your message earlier on today about there's a specific email that you had that I can't get you on. I had to step away from something, close it down, put an end to it in order that I could, like, new shoots would come up. When we garden, when we have trees and shrubs that overgrown, there are processes of pruning and times to cut back. And sometimes cutting back can be quite drastic, taking everything back to the bare roots of something, and you can hardly see it. And I had to do that in order for what's coming up, which is new, to have the place and the space to grow and develop. So for me, I'm at that point now of seeking 3 or 4 incredible men or women that are established in business, entrepreneurs, business leaders, that I know that can gather with me to help me build something that can impact a specific demographic.
Yeah. Well, I would nearly call that preparation.
Yes.
Nearly. But you're not doing that. You're not preparing for tomorrow.
I'm not preparing that. I'm walking into that space knowing that those people will come to me, knowing that, because this is going to sound arrogant, and I'm not, you know me, I'm not an arrogant man. I'm walking into the space that I know that people are going to come to me because of what I hold and what who I am.
Yeah.
That if I like something, if I like the touch paper, it's going to ignite, and things are going to be drawn to that. So I'm at that point of igniting something that once I do that, the right people will come, and then perhaps there will be some preparation. But knowing me, I'd walk into that group of people saying, look, I don't know what this looks like. I have no idea, but this is it. And I will spew out some words. I will give and impart something. And I will hope that people will gather around me and say, right, I can do this and I can do that. And yeah, we can do this. And this is where we need to go with that. And I will just say, great, run with it. And I will empower them. So I set a vision, and then people will come and people will prepare and people will strategize and people will build off that moment of ignition.
Yeah. Yeah, I love your angle. I would define this as a really good definition of how do I prepare for living from tomorrow. It is intentional. It is knowing your yes, knowing your no. It's having those parallel things in your soul that when they pop up, you know that your authority is growing. You know it will attract people. So in all this, it is preparation without defining what to do.
Yeah.
And I believe that is essential, especially when we talk about the future. It's not about what you do. Like you said, you have to resign from certain things. You have to stop things. You let go. One of the hardest things to let go is that you know how to do it. And you have to let go how to do it to receive the new how to do it, which happens when you are in proximity and you step in. And just, I think that is an interesting one for a follow-up podcast in how did that process go of letting go? Because that is so hard and painful.
Yeah.
And it would be good to just share how rewarding it is with hindsight. But it started, and that's where I want to land it. It started with that you give yourself permission. You prioritized that, making choices. You positioned yourself around other people, and you were open for input. And I think there's a certainty. It was not comfortable. So you dealt with it, with all your failing and standing up, and you got yourself through to this space to live actually in the moment, and have a preparation without the doing, but actually about being. And we need to say falling forward because you lean so much into it. So thank you for your honest answers. And for our listeners, just connect. Use the link businessrevivalists.com/coach. Just connect if you want to speak to Grant, or connect if you want to speak to me, and just find out how you can be supported with the right people around you to hang on, lean forward, fall forward into what is actually yours. And maybe they're just blurry feelings or unshaped future dreams you have. That doesn't matter. Clarity comes always with hindsight. So I hope listening to our conversation, to Grant's input, his soul digging in the past, that it helps you, that there's only one step actually, and that's stepping in. So connect. The link is also in the description of the podcast. So don't let this moment just go by, and step in the moment. Grant, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ryan.
Looking forward to the next podcast and all our conversations in between.